Washington Wizards play. You know what that means? It means after the game, Wizards Outlook. Tonight, as always, joined by Cardell W. Jr., Raymond Lyons, Wilson Tarpe Jr., and again, welcome to Wizards Outlook. As you guys see on the banner at the bottom screen, the Wizards falter late. Tatum comes down the stretch. Celtics win 111-110. I'm sure you guys are going to get into the late game execution because it looked for a while there like Washington was in control, but things did not end up that way. Ray, we'll start with you tonight, then go to Cardell. Just your initial thoughts on this one.
This is probably my fault to begin with because I should have kept my mouth closed last night. but yeah, man, it's a bad loss. They did everything possible to give this one away. They started slow, which I'm not actually surprised about. They came out, missed their first 6 shots. It's just a sloppy start, had 2 turnovers out the gate. But the good thing about it is they were aggressive. They were getting to the foul line early. They had 9 of their first 12 at the free throw line, which was kind of keeping them in the game. They still managed to keep it close after the bad start. The difference with this game and what we saw from them earlier, like they started a game like this maybe a month ago, and then they got to climb their way out of a 20-30 point hole. But they managed to tread water until they can kind of get some momentum. But it just wasn't able to close it out. They had a 5-point lead late, and just gave it up down the stretch. The one Tatum layup where he just got to the basket kind of unopposed. That was kind of strange to me. I don't know if they just let that happen or but they weren't in a position to just give away points. And then the late possession when Brad Beal stepped out of bounds, things got to be a little more aware of what's going on. Like
looking to the three themselves.
I was thinking in my head they're not going to immediately come running foul because they can play defense, get an 8-second call or anything. Like it wasn't like they were already in front court where they were in a position to immediately attack the basket. So I feel like he should have just kind of just played basketball right there instead of trying to anticipate what they were going to do. But and then we seen just a tough finish from Tatum. But yeah, this is one they let slip away, and this was kind of an important game. They could have gained some real ground in the standings here. But yeah, man, it's a tough loss, and they just got to shake it off, get ready for the next 2, and close out before All-Star break strong. Another thing, you can't let Daniel Tice get 20 points. Man, that's you gotta corral him a little better than that. Now I don't know what was going on with their communication on that pick and roll defense, but down the stretch there, he tore him up off that. And without that outburst, we're not even in this position. And then also Boston controlled the offensive glass. And got a lot of second chance points, and that hurt the Wizards as well. But yeah, this is definitely one they let slip away, and I'm sure it stings just a little bit.
Cardell, I know you want to hear your initial thoughts on this one.
I'm actually still encouraged. Honestly, this was a grinded out game. Neither team went away. The Celtics jumped on them early. Looked like they was gonna kind of run away with it, but the Wizards fall back. That's what I'm looking for, to fight. You know what I mean? That's totally the opposite of what we saw early in the season when they were just blowing games and whatnot. But that's how I know they're a different team. The fact that they on the road on the back. This is a unique back-to-back because last night they were at home and then they fly up to Boston and they got to play Boston the next day. The next night or whatever. So on the road, that's a tough pill to swallow. You know what I'm saying? You could tell that guys had the dead legs because outside Westbrook and Bill, who are vets, all-star caliber vets, they got nothing else from their starters. I think the only other starter that scored was Rui, and he had 2 points. Nobody else scored in the starting lineup. So they elevated their games once they saw those guys getting off to a slow start. But on the opposite end of that, those starting guys, Rui, Mo Wagner, and Garrison, they gave them something defensively. That's the thing that kept them in the game was the defense. Because once Boston got up, I believe it was like 8-2, something like that, 7-2 early. When the Wizards kind of clamped down, started defending them, and it was a tight game after that. Once they started getting their rhythm, Bill started going off, Westbrook, Bertans, and then it became a game. Uh, got to say this, man. If they put together enough wins where they get back in the playoff mix, I'm talking about the Wizards. Brad Bill need to be in the MVP discussion. He's playing at a ridiculous level. It's nothing that no one in the league has been able to do to stop this dude. He's just playing with guys, and you could just tell the game has slowed completely down for him. He's picking his spots, using his 3 speed to speed up, slow down, get to his spots, knock down jumpers, threes, get to the lane, get the bucket inside, get to the free throw line, moving without the ball. He's scoring. He's doing it all, and he's improved defensively. You gotta give him all the credit he deserves. But I just feel like the team defense with the Wizards kept them in the game while other guys were ice cold. It gave Bill chances to keep them in the game, keep them close in spurts. I thought Bonga came in, played a good role late, with his defense. He bothered Kemba a lot. He frustrated him with his length and stuff like that. Bertans, they needed his shooting bad, especially off the bench. Like I said, outside, you take Russ and Bill away, there's only 2 points from the starting lineup. You know what I mean? So they needed his points off the bench. The Kemba Walker, Daniel Theis pick and pop game, I feel killed the Wiz in the fourth. That's just because Lopez don't have the foot speed to recover once Kemba turn around the corner. It is what it is. Sometimes it ain't nothing. It really ain't much you could do. It is what it is, and credit to Stevens for noticing that and not complicating things. He kept calling that, and it worked. He stopped. You saw Theis. He wasn't even hitting the rim at the top of the key, just knocking that jumper down. And he like, if y'all don't adjust, we just gonna keep doing this until we win. And that's just smart basketball. That's what good coaches do. You know what I mean? I feel like Russell Westbrook played a great game. His defense was ridiculous. I think at the 350 mark, he was on the left corner, and he came inside, contested Kemba, forced a miss. But the one I really love is the Ojale 3 where he was wide open in the corner. Russ ran from the other corner, sprinting out there to contest and forced a miss out of Ojale. Those are effort plays that they weren't even thinking about doing early in the season, that they're doing on a regular now, and it's keeping them in games. Those are the things that help keep, for me, keeps me encouraged because it's just, you know what I mean? A couple guys get going offensively, it's a different game. This is unusual. Normally, Rui, you can count 10 to 20 points from Rui. Normally, you can count Mo Wagner to give you around 10 or something like that, just off of hustle points. Garrison Matthews, he's coming off a game. He had 18 points. Now, I know the Celtics focused in on him because of that. You know what I'm saying? But still, you can count on him to give you some points or whatnot, too. So that's just their legs that they have to learn how to adjust and learn how to deal with. Because think about it. This is the only schedule recently in the NBA where it's back-to-backs like this. They've never even had to deal with this before. So this new for them. As for Bill and Russ, they've seen it all. So they know how to get their bodies ready, be prepared mentally, and be ready to go. The clutch 3 from Russ, obviously with 3 minutes left, was huge. Jason Tatum was big time, especially with Jaylen Brown out. They couldn't do nothing with him. Baskets late in the game. But here's one thing I wanted to point out. So after Russ hit that 3 to get Washington a 106-98 lead with 2:56 left, the next Wiz possessions went like this. Turnover from Russ, Bertans missed 3, Lopez layup, Bill bucket, Russ missed 3, Bill turnover when he slips, and then Bill misses the potential game winner. So the Wizards' last 7 possessions, they only scored twice. They had 2 turnovers, and they missed 3 times. Well, on the other hand, Boston went 6 for 7 from the field, and Tatum scored on 4 of those with 8 points. That's what won the game. So down the stretch, the fresher team prevailed. They had fresher legs. They executed. They got the points. The Wizards kind of got cold at the wrong time, made some poor decisions or whatnot. That slip, that's just one of them charges to the game type of deals. Tatum fell right there. They inbounded quick. Didn't get it. It wasn't time to try to mop it up or whatnot. He unfortunately slipped. I know people were like, why? Brooks took responsibility. Post game said that was his fault. He should have called a timeout or whatnot. But I know what Bill was trying to do. He was trying to wait for them to get. He's been doing it all season. He'll hold the ball, wait for the foul.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But guess what? You're on the road in Boston, so you're not gonna get those timely calls where you expect it. So I'm just being real. So the refs kind of let it play out for a little bit, but unfortunately he slipped. I think right when he slipped would have been the time where they would already call, foul or whatnot. But they bottled him up. They stood tall, and he slipped and fell, touched out the mound line, ball back to Boston. They get another shot at it. You know what I mean? So that was just a difference in the game down the stretch, man. They executed. They got what they wanted. They were more efficient. And if you're like that in a close game down the stretch, you're going to win.
Yeah, and this isn't really anything too new. Earlier in the year, we were talking about Washington had a tendency in close games late. They have several empty possessions, and that's literally what Cardell just went through sharing with you guys. That many possessions in a row, and however we want to look at it, they came up empty. Meanwhile, what he just shared, Boston, on the other hand, they made the most out of each and every one of those possessions late. It's that simple, and for them to we talking about the hole that they were in to climb out this hole. Games like this, you got to execute late, and it needs to be something where they get a little bit better at this going forward, because this is, as you can see, they end up in close games. Them sending hard double at Beal, with the philosophy of any of the other four knock us out, but not him. That's not going to change. That's going to become a normal thing. No one's going to be comfortable with, hey, Bill, one-on-one, like Cardell said, he's been doing what he wants. No one's about to let him have the ball and get the look that he wants at the end of the game. It's something they got to work on, something they got to figure out. All-Star break coming soon, but got a couple games coming up. So I guess when I ask you guys is before we get to that, from Coach Hall, one, appreciate you tuning in. Two, the comment, he was like, they stole one from Brooklyn late, and then now they gave it right back tonight. Like Ray was talking about, it was in the standings. Was a game, had they won it, would have been great, because it put Boston back at 500. And I think, Cardell, you mentioned a couple of nights ago, the top three teams are over 500. Everybody else is right in that close range where there's not a lot of separation. That 4 through 12 almost. It's a couple games difference here and there. And that would have been a big blow to Boston, because they would have been 16 and 18 tonight had Washington finished this one. So you would have got them to take an L in the standings and you climb up one. But again, it's about going forward. And like you guys mentioned, the second half of the season will be even more heavy with the back-to-back. So you're going to have the rest of the team, the younger folks, going to have to figure this out mentally and physically to get through the walls, because it's not about to get easier from a schedule perspective. But yeah, I just want to ask you guys real quick, looking forward, what do you think about the upcoming matchups?
The matchups before All-Star break?
Yeah, it's just the Grizzlies. It's Grizzlies and Clippers this week?
I mean, well, they already played the Clippers. They definitely got bringing in that one because they got smacked last time. But the Grizzlies, that's a winnable game. Like I said, I'm encouraged by how they're competing now. It's consistent, you know what I'm saying, especially defensively. I mean, they turned the Celtics over 19 times, I mean, that's Kemba Walker and Jason Tatum handling the ball most of the time, you know what I'm saying? You just don't turn those brothers over. They're too good. So that's defense, and that's what kept them in the game, because think about it. Had they played the defense they was playing early in the season, this would be a 30-point L real quick. It would have been over at halftime. So that's what I mean. As long as they keep competing like this and fighting like this, they're going to win their fair share of games and be in a playoff mix. They just got to keep bringing this. The thing I want to stress for the other guys that didn't really play with Rui, Mo, and all those guys that you saw it on the last possession with Bill, play basketball, cut to the basket. They're too rigid. They're too system oriented. And that's not a reflection of, I'm not even blaming the coaching staff. That's just because in a sense they're specialists, you know what I mean? And Bill was playing amazing, you know what I mean? He's kind of got the young Jordan thing going on now, where it's like they just stand and watch, because what he's doing has been amazing. But they can't forget they're in the NBA too, and they got to be ready to play basketball. And that's it, like on that last possession, you saw the double coming. You should have been cutting right away, you know what I mean? And if make the ref make a decision, go hard at the basket or shoot a runner, pull up, floater, whatever it was. I saw Bertans try to cut, but he got tripped up or whatnot, and Bill had to force it. You know what I mean? So he was the only one. You need more guys to do that. They got to figure out the players got to look at film and figure out different ways to score where it doesn't revolve around Bill or Russ setting them up, all the time, spotting up for three and all that. And that's kind of, and like I said, this ain't a shout out to analytics or whatever. I mean, at the coaching staff, because this is just the league in general. That's what analytics just throw me off because that's what it does. It makes you predictable. You're going to run to the 3-point line. We just saw the Wiz get a win. They probably didn't deserve last week off of that. You know what I mean? So, I just think they just got to relax and play basketball when Rui 2 points. I expect better out of him, man. That's just, he did not have a good game at all. They need him to be the third guy. I know Bertans is looked at as the third guy, but he's just a shooter. Rui's the guy that can mix it up, get it multiple ways.
Mm-hmm.
He got to get his 15 to 20. He got it. Because think about it, if he get his 15 to 20, Bertans get you 20. You saw what Russell and Bill did. I mean, damn, that's a damn near 100 right there. Then that makes it easier on everybody else, the others, to do what they do. There's less pressure on them. You know what I'm saying? So that's all that was, man. So just play basketball. Cut, move, set good, solid screens. You'd be surprised how that got you open, just like Tice in the fourth quarter. All he did was set good, hard screens, and Kemba turned that corner. They had it, had the hedge out. Here you go. He wide open. It's as simple as that. So simple adjustments, if they make, they'll be fine.
Right.
Yeah, this loss definitely isn't the end of the world. It's just one they let get away. That was definitely within their grasp. But in regards to their upcoming 2 games, I mean, what Memphis is going to bring. They're going to play hard. They're going to scrap. But like Cardale said, that's a game they can get. And the Clippers, yeah, they just gonna have to pull their bootstraps up and get down to business because we saw what happened the last time they played them. But yeah, man, I do feel like they're still in a good spot considering how consistent they've been over the last stretch of games. So then they get the week off just to get the rest of their bodies and their minds, and then come back afterwards right back to the grind. So yeah, man, this isn't catastrophic by any means. This is an anomaly from Rui. Like he hasn't played this bad in a very long time, and I'd be surprised if we saw this type of game from him again. But yeah, so if they just keep doing what they're doing, things will work out for them. But yeah, man, it is encouraging to see that they're able to keep pace and kind of tread water in games like this where really nothing's going right. But, as Cardale says often, the one thing you can always control, is your defensive effort. And they brought it. And that's what really kept the game close until they was ready to make their move. And, unfortunately, just some plays down the stretch didn't go their way. So yeah, man, just looking forward to how they progress in the coming weeks.
Yeah, my last little tidbit again, what you guys talking about early on, staying in the game. Like, think about the first quarter. You went like 6 minutes before you hit two or three field goals. You only stay in that game because you kept the other team from going crazy while you haven't scored outside of the foul line. And even to get to the foul line, you had to slow them down while you're getting, for you to get 8 points, that was 4 trips to the line.
Mm-hmm.
You got to slow them down to get the 4 trips to the line, right? So definitely things to be encouraged about and things they got to just sharpen up. But again, I know we keep saying it, but there's only 3 spots in the East that's really solidified. Everything else right now, man, just it's people trying to elbow their way in. So there's room, there's opportunity, and we're gonna find out in the coming weeks. Who wants it bad enough? Who's gonna come out? Who's gonna make sure that they're in? And Cardo mentioned this too. Don't forget the play-in factor. That's going to be a big part of this too. Obviously, you don't want to aim for the play-in game, but it's there for just in case. You want to make it outright, but again, you need to bring it up because it is a legitimate issue. It's a legitimate option. So if no one has anything else, I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight, whether it be on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you guys next Tuesday night for the Focus TV. Then a couple hours after that, Wizards Outlook once again. G League rundown a couple times next week. So we'll be seeing you guys quite a bit. Y'all have a good one.